How you doing, everyone? It's Kevin. I'm back with another video. A little bit chilly this morning, but we got some work to do in the shop today. We're going to be working on some stools, and if y'all noticed when we built the mini barndominium, we needed some stools. We have that peninsula that comes off of the counter there, because we don't really have a place in there for a kitchen table, but we do need a place to eat. So that peninsula, we wanted to put a couple chairs on it. So we went to Lowe's, and they had some nice stools. They were kind of aluminum, and one thing about aluminum is if something breaks on them, I really can't weld them here in the shop. And things go wrong with them, they're a little bit harder to fix. So we were on our way to town the other day, and we come across a couple yard sales and decided to stop and see what they had. And lo and behold, they had 3 of these stools, and they're good. They're an oak, they're wood. They're a little bit loose, like this one here is a little bit loose, but I'm gonna go ahead and restore 3 of these stools. They only had 3, and I got them for like 60 bucks, and I think these are almost $200 a piece. So if we could get them stripped down and get them painted, I have one of them done. I'm going to show you what it looks like finished. So I'm going to show you the process of what it took us to get this to look like this. So it took a little bit to get it to look like this. So we're going to show you what we had to do. Now, I did a video a while back on some stripper, and everybody tells me it didn't, or wasn't good, or something, it didn't work right. Well, since the time I done the video on the stripper to now, I think they took something out of this stripper, because I got the same stripper and it doesn't strip either. It takes such a long time to get the varnish off of there. It's unreal how long it takes us. It took us almost a week to get this chair done, and we have 2 more to go, but I think we got it figured out, and I'll show you the process that we'll do to get it to look like this. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get this top off of here, and they have some holes drilled in the bottom of here, and all I have to do is take my Allen wrench and go up in here and get these bolts out. We'll take the top, this chair top off, and we don't have to take a bunch off. Basically, this chair top, the seat. All right, we got the top off. And it's much easier to sand these and work on these with them apart. Now, the only reason why the top was loose is you can see these bolts are loose right here. So we'll tighten all these up before we put it back together. It doesn't look like it was even tightened before, you know, when they were new. I'm not sure. But all we'll have to do is tighten them up. Just by looking at the holes, you can see this one here looks a little stripped out. They all look a little bit, but what we'll do is we'll put some wood and some glue down in there when we're ready to put these back together, and we'll have it nice and tight. So now we got to get on to stripping. Now we want to make sure we put all of our bolts up so we don't lose them. They all need to go back in, so I have a nice little place over on the wall here. We're going to put them up, and then we're going to get to stripping this thing down. Alright, this is the stripper we're going to be using on these chairs, and it's for paint and varnish, and it definitely is not good stuff. I mean, I don't think any of it's any good anymore. So we're gonna try our best to get this to strip these, but what I'm gonna do, it says wait 15 minutes. I'm gonna put a couple, maybe even a few coats on it, and we're gonna let it set for maybe even an hour or longer, because we need it to raise the varnish off there. I think the longer I leave it set, the more it's going to pull off. Now, I cut an old pop can, little metal pop can, watch you don't get cut on it, and just an old throwaway brush. And I'm going to start going to town on these. And we're just going to start on the bottom, and we're going to work our way down I'm going to put a good heavy coat on all these, everything that's got the varnish on it. Everything we want varnish off of. It's definitely a long process, and I'm trying to put it on there, daub it on there as heavy as I can, because we're going to let it set for a long time. I think that might be the key, letting it set for a long time. I know what you guys are saying when you said that stripper wasn't working, but I honestly think they took something out of the stripper, and it don't really work that good. Now they have some other stripper in there, different types, but this is the one I used all the time, and this stuff really worked well. When I did the go-kart and that, it was pulling off even the powder coat. You know, it was working on it, but this stuff now, I know where you guys are coming from though, that's for sure. It doesn't work very well. So, but I think if we let this set for a while and then maybe put another coat on it, and just keep putting coats on it until we think it's raised all that off, hopefully it'll work. So I'll get you back in here when I get these all coated. I'm sure you don't want to sit there and watch this. Alright, I have both of them coated really heavy with the stripper now. The old stuff, by now, I would see it curling up, and every little thing on there would just be peeling up and curling, cracking, and I see absolutely nothing right now. But we're going to give it some time. We don't want it to completely dry on there, but we're going to give it as much time as we can, maybe an hour or longer. And then if we have to put another coat on top of that, maybe we'll have to do that, or we just might clean that off and then put another coat. But I know the last chair took about 4 coats, 3 to 4 coats of this to get it off. But I don't think we were given it a long enough amount of time to really work. So what we'll do is we'll go around, and every once in a while, I got a little bit more left in my can, we'll daub it on there and make sure it stays wet. What would be ideal if I could take these and set them down in a plastic bag so no air could get to them, and then let them set for maybe overnight. But the air is actually drying it on there, so you don't want that to dry on there, but you do want it to peel. If we could get them in a bag, it'd be great. So we'll be back in a little while once we see if that stuff's gonna work. Okay, it's been about 2 hours since I put the stripper on there, and I brushed it a couple times just to kind of keep it wet. And Julie's out here now, and she's scraping on them, and I think it's going to come off pretty good. It looks like it's going to come off pretty good. What do you think, Julie?
Seems to be, yeah. Yeah, the other one we did, we had a heck of a time with it, so we figured we better let it set a little longer this one.
Yeah. So we got, like I said, about 2 hours of that thing sitting on there, and it seems like it's taken off, but we won't know until we actually get it all cleaned up, and then we'll see how much more is left on there. But we'll still have to sand over them.
Yeah.
So we're going to get to cleaning these up, and then we'll get you guys back in here. Okay, Julie got them scraped up pretty good. She scraped a bunch of the stripper off. And I got some soapy water here I'm going to use to wipe these down. And it's got a little bit of Dawn dish liquid on them. We're just going to try to get the rest of the stripper off, clean them up. Because we don't know what we're going to have actually until we get everything off of them. Okay, we stuck them out here on the trailer just to kind of let them dry in the sun with the air blowing. And you can see, like, not all of that come off. And that's after about 2 hours of sitting with that stripper on there. Now, what we're going to do now is, once they dry up, Julie's going to use a, what's the name of that stuff?
It's just a liquid deglosser. It's supposed to, like, take the shininess off the polyurethane so you can paint. It's supposed to help the paint stick to the surface better.
So what we'll do, we'll put that on there and then we'll sand these.
Yeah, and we're just trying different stuff. We, don't want to go through this whole process and then the paint not stick to it.
Right.
So we're just trying a bunch of different things, and hopefully, in the long run, it works out.
We don't have to keep painting them.
Yeah.
So we're gonna let them dry a little bit here in the sun and let them air dry here.
Nice and breezy. So.
Oh yeah, the wind's blowing good out here. Yeah, so it won't take long for them to dry.
Minutes and then we'll do our next step.
Okay, Julie had decided we're gonna sand these before she uses the deglosser, and we're using a 100 sandpaper. And if you guys like the little sandpaper cutter, I did do a video on building these, and it works out great. And these fit my sander perfect. So we're using a 100 sandpaper on them, and then if we see that they're still glossy, we'll use the deglosser.
Yeah, the deglosser. I don't know what kind of polyurethane was on these, but woo, it just does not want to come off. They're just still really rough, and they've been a pain in the butt for sure. But we're just going to do the best we can, and hopefully our paint sticks. I mean, we're doing as much as we know what to do with them. We're not professional
restorers?
Yeah, furniture restorers. And I'm sure there's a lot of you out there that's going to be able to tell us after we're already done what we should have done. But we're just doing what we can.
We'll get them done. Okay, we got them all sanded down the best we could. Now Julie's using deglosser on there now. It's just a liquid.
In case we missed any of the polyurethane, we're just going to use this to, because there's some small spots where it's really hard to get into, so just going to use this to help take the shine off.
And that's supposed to help the paint stick, right?
Yeah.
So we'll get that on there and then we'll get the primering them up. So not much to that. Julie just wiping it on with a rag. So Julie's putting a coat of primer on these. Mm-hmm. And what kind of primer is that, Julie?
Zinsser's primer.
That's pretty good.
Pretty much anything will stick to it. Yeah. And we just had it tinted gray. That way, the paint will cover better. Yeah, the Zinsser's primer, it's a really good primer.
Okay, Julie went ahead and put a coat of paint on these. She got 2 coats, right, Julie?
Yeah, 2 black.
2 coats of paint, and they look pretty good, but I'm telling you, we're having issues with the stripper. So these are the 2 strippers I used right there. We used them 2 strippers, and we used the Easy Liquid Sander Deglosser. That works fairly decent, don't it, Joel? The deglosser?
Yeah, it
works fairly decent. Yeah. But the main thing was to get the shine off, but we wanted to get most of the, what's the clear coat?
The
polyurethane. We wanted to get that off, and neither one of these worked very good at all. Now, I think this is just a little bit older can. Oh, this is the older can. I've had that for a while, and neither one of them worked good at all. So we're going to go in town, and we're going to pick up some of the orange. What's it called? Citrus? Some kind of orange, maybe citrus stripper. And we're going to try that on the next one.
Recommending it.
Yeah, somebody recommended it, and we're going to try it and see how it works. And if it works, we're going to relay that message to you guys. If it doesn't, we'll relay that message too. So we're going to get this one finished to put together, and then we're going to get the other one out here and get ready to strip it. So what we're doing now is I'm putting these little pads on the bottom of the feet. I'll get a container here and show you what they look like. Here's the pack of them. You get 4 of them in the pack.
They're actually really neat because they don't allow your legs to tear up the floor. So, and they're not really expensive, and they slide, make the chair slide real easy. So what we did is when Julie painted the bottom of these, I told her, I said, put a bunch of paint down in them holes where the old ones were, so these ones will be tight. Pretty easy to put on, and they do a pretty good job. So we got this chair is all put together and good to go now. We're gonna go put this in the house, and then we're gonna go out and we're gonna bring the other one out and get ready to strip it. All right, so we tried all these different strippers, and these two here, they really didn't work at all. Very little. I mean, even after almost 2 hours of leaving that one on there, it still didn't really strip. So we picked up this one here, and this is it's going to be a what do you call that? Environmentally safe? Yeah. They say it's pretty good. So we're going to try it next. I mean, and if all else fails, since we're painting them, we'll use this guy on, and that helps. We're sanding what we can, and we use this to go in the cracks. Yeah. And
to get the glossy.
Yeah, get the gloss off of it. It works. This stuff does work. So we're gonna get to doing our last stool. So Julie's just shaking that real well.
It's kind of thick, so it's hard to shake. Let's put some. I don't know how much I need. And then we're just going to use a brush.
Are you going to try it on something?
What do you mean?
Just going to do it?
I'm just going to do it. What do you want me to try?
No, you go ahead. Just do it.
We're just going to do it.
How long did it say to leave it on? Did it say?
It says after 30 minutes to check it and see if it's ready to remove. You can leave it up to 24 hours, it says, but to cover...
Say like a garbage bag.
Yeah, stick it inside of a garbage bag if you want to let it set overnight.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Anything got to work better than them last two. I'm telling you, I don't know what happened to them. I did a video on that one time, and people were saying, this stuff don't work. Well, it did when I used it the first time, but now it don't. I don't know whether the government's got stricter restrictions on what they put in this stuff, and now it doesn't work, but the other two, waste of money. It don't work.
Time, too.
Money and time, yeah, for sure.
We had to end up pretty much sanding them by hand.
Yeah. Well, you know, this is about the stripper, so I guess we'll let you know if you're wasting your money. So far, the first two, waste of money. So, as soon as we get this coated and let it set for 30 minutes, we'll see what starts to come off. We'll get you back in here. Alright, it's been 30 minutes. Well, he's looking for a plastic plate knife. We don't have one, but Julie found a piece of plastic.
I just found this. I don't even know what it is. But I can't scrape the whole thing anyways because it's, you know, the round... kind of hard to scrape that kind of stuff, but I tell you what, this does seem like it's working a little better than the last stuff.
It looks heavy on there. Did you put it that heavy, or?
Well, no, I think it's actually working.
Kidding me?
Seems like it is.
That's a lot of stuff. I don't think you put it on that thick, so it had to be taking it off. Good grief, look at that.
It does seem like it's working pretty good. Yeah, look at that.
That's cool. If it's working, that's cool.
Like I said, it's kind of hard to scrape this stuff because, I mean, it's not... mean, I can scrape a little bit of it, but not a lot.
Well, let me see if I can get you a scraper.
Yeah, we need to find something.
Should have thought about that before we started.
Yeah.
All right, we decided to coat them real heavy again since it didn't really do much to it. And we're going to put bags over these and we're going to let them set overnight and see if that stuff works any better. So we'll find out tomorrow. We're just going to throw bags over them, cover them up so no air can get on them, and then 24 hours we'll take it back off. All right, that's what it looks like.
After about 24 hours.
Yeah, 24 hours. So let's do a little bit of scrape test here, Jules, see what happens.
I started to a little bit.
Oh, it looks gummy.
It's, I don't know if that's actually the
Clear coat
or it's just the stripper itself. It's really hard to tell until we get the chairs all cleaned up and wiped off real good. I really can't tell, so.
Well, what we'll do is we'll get them cleaned up and then
we'll get back to you and let you know.
See, it looks like it dried on there a little bit. It's white.
But like I said, I can't really tell if it's did anything or it's just
So what we'll do is we'll get them cleaned up and then we'll let you know if it worked after 24 hours of sitting on there in a bag.
Yeah,
you can see we have that one in a bag covered now.
This one is still covered,
so.
But it's kind of stuck to it right now. But yeah, we'll get these cleaned up and then we'll let you know our opinion on this.
Okay, we have got our chairs done. They're all finished up, and we used the 3 strippers there and the liquid sander, deglosser, and the sandpaper. I really kind of feel bad because I did a video it's been a good while back. I've been doing videos for almost 7 years, and I did one on some stripper and it worked great, and everybody's like, it don't work. And I agree with them. It doesn't work anymore. I don't know what they've taken out of the strippers, but they don't work. They're a waste of money. Neither one of these, this one, or this one worked. They didn't work very well at all. This worked pretty good. For in them cracks, we couldn't get the sandpaper in. But the number one thing is, buy sandpaper, sand it down. It's going to get the job done 100%. So, I would like to tell everyone, thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave me thumbs up, thumbs down, or a comment if you'd like. Till next time.